White House on Flag Day and also on President Trump's birthday to coincide with the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, the Freedom 250 celebration. A lot of people thought this sounds absolutely badass and awesome, but it's going to come with a significant set of challenges, from the logistics of doing a fight outside to building something on the White House lawn, and of course, just to the inherent political nature that some people would attach to the event, the people who would be rooting for it to fail, who would be hoping for it to fail, and all of that. And even myself, which when I heard this, I thought, that's pretty fucking awesome. I thought there's going to be some major challenges. And then when the card was announced and people didn't think maybe it quite lived up to expectation, even though if you're a normal UFC who saw this card, it'd probably be like, that's a pretty damn good card. Was it really up to the level people expected for the White House fight? All of the eyes that came with it. And last night, UFC delivered in a major way. It went better than I could have possibly expected.
I think I might have passed my exam.
Ringside as opposed to the normal 20,000 in a full stadium.
Cheated, dog.
The spectacle, the production, the fights themselves.
Yep. If I had not, I would have fucking failed. Well, I actually don't know what the results are yet. Maybe I might fucking get caught. Say, oh, you fucking cheated. But
how did you cheat though?
It was an online exam. But, so basically, my laptop, you have to use this browser where it locks down all the other applications, so you can't like fucking go to like a different tab or whatever. And they got a webcam, so you have to use the webcam. But what I did is I asked my uncle for his laptop. And then I just basically put it next to the laptop, a bit behind it. And I had all the notes and shit on there, and I would just look at that. I did that before for the midterm, but I used my phone, and I don't know, I didn't use it as much. So yeah, I passed the midterm, and they didn't call me out for like cheating or anything. So I hope it's the same deal. Dude, like, I don't fucking know, dude. Like, it's like 44 multiple choice questions and like fucking like 7 written questions. I'm just like, yeah, there's no way I could have fucking studied for that. Like, I don't know how people have the time to study for this shit.
Well, it's just their fucking memory works better. It's easy to study for 40 things when you can just look at it and fucking remember it.
It's not even like the memory type thing for me. It's just I don't even know how they find the time. I mean, I guess they probably aren't working as much as me. But
how long did you study just last night?
I didn't.
Okay, so
I didn't really.
Let's say you study for an hour.
I was too tired.
Let's say you study for an hour or two for one day. Some people can actually go through all of it and retain either most or like enough of the information. Where when I was studying for the airport stuff, I had to, like, I legit brought the papers out when we went out for dinner. That's how much I would have to do it because my memory is so
bad. I mean, I guess it's kind of like guitar practice. Probably going to be better doing a little each day, and over time it just solidifies. I don't know.
Well, but one thing for me, I can never remember shit for specific exam days.
Yeah.
It's like people that have good memories, they don't understand because it's like how. I would ask them like, in high school, like, how do you remember all that stuff? And they look at you like, eye their heads, like, their faces like, how don't you remember all that stuff? I'm like, okay. And I just never really understand that question.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can make them understand. You just grab their head and you smash it against the wall like 10 times.
Yeah, then I asked them, yeah, do you remember what we're talking about? I was like, no, I don't. It's like, okay, there we go.
Like, there you go. Holy fuck.
Like, bro, we were
That's
just
funny.
talking about it 2 seconds ago, bro.
You know, maybe that's not your good skill. I think you're more so good at like spatial awareness, because I don't know how you can see a Lego starship before it's built in that program. Like, I don't know how the fuck you do that. But I'd say you're probably more better at that kind of shit.
Well, even more than the Lego, than the Star Destroyer, the fucking U-boats. I had that all in my head. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with that.
Yeah, would you say that's because you spent basically years looking at U-boats, basically just in a way studying them without feeling like you're studying them?
No, I wouldn't even say I wouldn't feel like I'm studying them. I definitely was. I was looking at how long they were. I was measuring how long each room was, depending on what class of U-boat.
So you would say, so would you say it's not your memory, it's the interest that determines how well you remember something?
That would make sense if I didn't feel like I had to remember said thing, even if I don't like it. So like with school, even though I didn't like it, I would still be trying to memorize it. But like if I think of it, if I give you another example, right? It's like with my COD stats. It's not that I'm more interested in COD stats or my stats specifically. It's that I looked at them probably 5 to 10 times in between each match, just because I would like maybe forget about the number I was looking at, and then I would go back and see it again. So I would do that so many times that I eventually have that information in my head. And like I've gone on my account, like let's say my Black Ops 1 account, so many times to look at the stats to where I might remember those, and I obviously recorded it so I could look at it on my computer at any point.
This is completely unrelated, but going back to the Stellar Blade Blood Rain trailer, if you look at literally any female NPC character, it's better than the majority of like Western main female protagonists.
Well, yeah, if you look at those comparisons of like Japanese or Korean developers, then you look at Western, and it's like either it's gay people making it, and they want to like either I don't know how to explain it, but it's either gay people that don't think women look good, or gay women that don't want women to look good.
Nice.
Because they're dykes or something, so they want to like make them unattractive to people asking.
Woo!
And then you look at the Asian ones, and it's like, holy shit, that looks like the woman that I want to go to war for.
Damn, no. Hold on, give me 1 sec.
You there?
Okay. Did you message me earlier because you were You were down to go walk or whatever?
Yeah, it was like right after I ate dinner, I asked if you wanted to walk.
I would have gone, but I was just doing the exam.
But do you get what I mean? You know when chicks like they start to wear weird clothes, they cut their hair weird, then they might color their hair a weird color. They might start growing like letting their armpit hair grow and try to like be repulsive to men, but it's like a different it's like a different word, different like a specific term. So it's like women that already do that, I feel like they would by default have a different outlook on what femininity and what a woman should look like in a game.
Yeah.
Especially like
I mean, yeah, I understand.
She's supposed to be like, or at least then, like I don't, is there an unattractive, whatever they're called?
Android or
like what are they called?
They're called what the fuck? Okay, so the chicks specifically, they're called angels. They're literally called angels.
Okay.
So it's understandable. Like if you're gonna call them an angel, like what the fuck do you expect them to be fat and ugly? Like
yeah, so
no, they're gonna look like perfection.
It's unironic.
Yeah.
Because they literally look like angels, or at least what you hope one would look like.
Yeah, I guess there's like, yeah. So there's the Natibas, which are like the monsters.
But yeah,
they're
like
the
changed,
humans. Right? They're like what now?
Changed, like they weren't always like that, right?
No. Like they were originally humans, but like they were transformed into monsters, basically.
Yeah. So they transformed. That's my point. They weren't always like that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the Natibas, then there's the surviving humans, then there's like I guess like it's the catch-all term or like the blanket term, the Androidos, and that's basically what Eve is and what Evie is going to be or whatever. So yeah, like synthetic beings that are like the next step in evolution.
You said Androidos?
Yeah, Androidos. That's what they're called in the lore. Bro, I'm so fucking hyped to play as Evie, dude. Like no fucking joke. Like it's actually unreasonable how fucking psyched I am to play
it.
it.
Is the new character or Eve from the first one?
It's the new character.
Okay.
That's the new character. Holy fuck.
In a really great fight between Justin Gaethje and Topuria. And a lot of people, Justin Gaethje is a big underdog, but at the same time, Gaethje, although he's never officially won a title, he's held a couple interim belts, he never actually held the real belt before. The dude has really never failed to deliver a great, entertaining fight.
You hear about the shit that happened at the White House?
In what maybe could be his last performance. He might retire and if he does,
like the planned attack or whatever.
As the lightweight undisputed champion. And when you look through this fight,
fucking crazy.
Some surprises, some upsets, some great fights, some great finishes, but in what win?
That flyover was fucking cool.
Hey, went on his stool. Who stopped the fight? Did he say no more? Was it just in the corner? There was a lot of controversy Ciryl Gane in between the third and fourth round, a long stoppage in which the doctor said he couldn't go, and then they gave him another minute, and the doctor said he could go, letting him rest and recuperate a little bit. Justin Gaethje was a dog, as he has always been a dog, and goes out. If this is the last one for him, he goes out on top, which is just absolutely phenomenal. But we got to look at some of the images. I guess we'll go through a couple more of the finishes. Ciryl Gane takes down Alex Pereira, and that was a very brutal, violent ending where Pereira just kept going and going despite getting hammered by Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane ends up winning. Pereira, you know, with Topuria and Pereira, in the UFC and MMA, you can be at the top of the mountain with people talking about you potentially the greatest all time, and all it takes is one or two fights, and suddenly perspective changes, things can change so quickly. But Pereira got brutalized by Ciryl Gane at the end of that fight. Sean O'Malley, we're going to show the knockout from Sean O'Malley where he knocks out his opponent and then salutes at the White House. A lot of great fights, but let's get into some of the pageantry involved. This was after, look, a lot of people were wishing things would get delayed because it's connected to Trump and blah, blah, blah. I think for the most part, with the exception of one comment, which we'll get to, overall, I don't think it should have really been viewed as a political spectacle, with the exception of maybe one comment about Michelle Obama in a post-fight speech, which was hilarious, but we'll get to it. This from Barstool, a flyover during the national anthem for a UFC event at the White House lawn, America. Watch this shit. Just absolutely phenomenal. The spectacle and the production value, everything went perfectly. The fights, everything went perfectly. You know, all fights, none of them ended with submissions or none of them ended with decisions. All of them were knockouts or TKOs. I guess in the example of Topuria, we didn't see it on the mat. He quit on the stool. But you know what I'm saying? Just right. You have shots like this after Diego Lopez wins. The aura coming from fucking White House from Diego Lopez. I want to get into Sean O'Malley finish right here. Sean O'Malley started celebrating before the fight was stopped, and that's very true. Gets up here and starts saluting. Just starts saluting, just like he apparently had envisioned before. Justin Gaethje, right? Justin Gaethje, and look, I know there was words said between Justin Gaethje and Sean Strickland. I love Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland got escorted out of the fan fest. That's a different topic, which maybe we'll talk about some point on this channel. I wanted to talk about the fight itself and the just everything, even for somebody that was doubting whether they would be able to pull this off.
But like, other than her being hot, I think
in
these are possibly two different things. Is she just looks nice, like the new chick.
Yes, it looks really nice. And honestly, I like how, like, it's not that it would be bad, but I like that they changed the body. Not that it's better or worse. It's just I like that they gave you something different. Yeah. So yeah, she's meant to be smaller, more petite than Eve, and I think she might be younger as well. But yeah, she's fucking hot.
Just like he has so many times, the dude can take a beating, take a licking, and keep on taking. That's what he did last night. And for him to end, look at this shot. I want to show you this shot to the rib. Look at this kick to the rib. Just absolutely brutalized him. And look at Topuria after this fight was over. What happened to this man's face? And he couldn't keep going, whether it was him, whether it was his corner, whatever it may be. But big shout out to Justin Gaethje. This dude won the night. An incredible fight, an incredible performance. I think he should go on. I think he should be done after this. I really do.
I wonder if it's gonna be. You think it's gonna be a longer game than the first one?
Could be possible. Justin Gaethje never fails to deliver, even if he loses.
I think it'll definitely have more fleshed out shit in terms of exploration, I think.
It felt like just a pro-America event.
Think it'll be more open
I'm
world,
pretty,
or will
yeah,
you
I'm
see
pretty
more
excited. I don't think it'll be like a, no, I don't think it'll be like a true open world, but I think it'll be kind of like the Zion area in the original, but way more dense and way bigger.
Here it is.
Because the entire game, from the looks of it, it's going to be on the colony that was talked about in the first game.
That is the way that Josh Hockett finished after he beat Derek Lewis. By the way, I never really seen Derek Lewis fight.
Is it still on Earth?
Whether Derek Lewis is
No, it's in space. It's in space. As for, okay, like, I don't know, it might be kind of like a Dead Space type situation, like Dead Space 2 situation, where it's like just like a big ass, kind of like array of systems, because I think you can actually see it in the first game. I'm thinking kind of like Halo installations, kind of like ring worlds around Earth. Yeah, I have to look back at the lore for that, but what the fuck is this doing?
It was fucking awesome. It was a great display. It was great pageantry. The fights themselves, for the most part, were fucking great. And shout out to UFC for putting this on and making it work. And to Donald Trump for being willing to do something like this in the first place. A lot of people didn't think it could be pulled off or thought it would fail. And it did not. It was fucking awesome. But what do you guys think?
So since her default is short hair, you think they'll have
yeah, they'll have different hairstyles.
Yeah.
No, but I don't see why not. I mean, yeah, probably. Probably more styles of short hair, if I'm being honest. But yeah, there'll probably be like a couple hairstyles in there where, you know, maybe she'll have like the ponytail like Eve does or whatever. Her weapons are completely different too, right? So like in the first game, Eve's blade or sword, it seconds as like kind of like a hairpin.
Yeah,
like if you ever, yeah, like if you ever look at the animation, she pulls the sword out of her hair.
Yeah.
I literally can't fucking wait to hear that soundtrack, man. The music they use in the fucking trailer was fucking amazing, man. Like,
The Odyssey, the new movie by Christopher.
As an event, and it may not be for everybody, but it feels to me elitist to say this is beneath the dignity if...
Dude, I fucking love how detailed people on the internet are. Right here. Why is his shirt so long? So good. So good.
Millions of people embrace it, and especially if, and I get your point about diversity, and I think what that fighter said was despicable, and I agree with you, but it didn't define the event. And even if it's not your cup of tea, it doesn't have to be highfalutin for it to be at the level of dignity.
The problem with UFC is that even though millions of people watch it, it's still a very specific type of
That attention to detail with like, why is this shirt so long, reminds me of one of my favorite signs ever at a wrestling event. Why were HBK's pants so high at SummerSlam '93? You have to be next level autistic to bring that sign to a wrestling event. But when you, as a wrestling fan, when you actually see that sign, you're going, you know what? He's right. Why were Shawn Michaels' pants so high at SummerSlam '93? It doesn't make sense. This is why the autism of the internet is the greatest superpower in the world. And that's why the internet will not be defeated.
Also timing as well, because we're at the point now where people are worried about gas prices, they're worried about food, they're worried about basically surviving the day. And you have this ostentatious event of fighter jets and all of this sort of performative patriotism taking place, and it just felt out of place. This very much felt like a Trump rally.
So when we have trans weirdos and men pretending to be women running around at the White House with these big performances under Joe Biden, you didn't have a problem with that. You didn't have a problem with people were starving, right? How many people could be fed with the money that it took to put that event on? And if you say not as many that could have been fed that with the money they put on with the UFC event, oh, so those people didn't matter that could have been fed. So even if we could have saved one life, you're saying it wasn't worth it? Isn't that the virtue signal? If one life is saved, we've made a difference. How many lives could have been saved if the Biden administration didn't put that woke event on with trans weirdos running around the White House? How many lives could have been saved?
It didn't feel like something that was necessarily for everyone to enjoy and partake in, because so much of the broadcast, even listening to it, it's like they were blazing Trump like every 10 minutes in between the crypto ads, where it was just like, if you were considering what the perceptions of Americans are, by other countries, there's this sort of idea of the showboating, ostentatious, kind of rude American. If you were watching this, you would be thinking, you know what? They never beat the allegations.
I hear you, but look, what's the difference between throwing that birthday party and throwing a birthday party in 1962 for John F. Kennedy at Madison Square Garden, where Marilyn Monroe comes out?
I can't believe Harvey Levin is challenging me. I'm actually shocked. What's his angle right now? Because I don't believe this is genuine. So what's his angle?
And they have huge birthday cakes. And the DNC, think of, instead of UFC, look at DNC. They're putting the bill for it. What's really the difference?
Well, the difference is that's at Madison Square Garden. That's not like on the White House lawn. It's purported to be what it is. But the White House lawn is like, well, the White House is considered to be the people's house. That's why it's called that. It's supposed to be representative of this country. And this was a different sort of feel, because this all did feel very much, this was about sort of sucking up to Donald Trump and glazing him as much as possible. It didn't really feel like something that was meant for America to share in.
You can't deny that UFC is wildly popular as a sport. And in terms of America, you're never going to get full America at any event, but it's a contender for being one of the top draws in sports, I would think.
I don't doubt its appeal, but it's certainly not the NFL, and it's not even the NBA, which is a very global sport. And we see sort of the diversity.
Bro, the NBA is on life support.
What?
I was waiting out about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Huh.
The NBA is pathetic. I know there was a lot of attention around the NBA finals, but the NBA is on life support. You go back to the Michael Jordan days, the NBA was the king of sports. Go back to the Kobe Shaq days, and as soon as Kobe retired, the NBA was basically LeBron James league, and it was a social justice league, and it has gone downhill big time.
That it attracts to the game, and that's the thing. The fighters, certainly there is diversity among the fighters, but I think you'd be lying to yourself if you didn't say there's a feel and a texture that is very rooted in MAGA in this.
I would say, Joe, Mel, if you go to a regular UFC event, the audience is a lot more diverse than what you saw last night.
I've been to one. I went to one in Anaheim a few years ago. I mean, it's still real male.
But it's not as white.
No, it's not as white. And this was.
Why is it that they don't acknowledge black people when it fits their narrative, but when it does, they do? This is typical leftist bullshit.
There were shades of this that were kind of uncomfortable because it was very clear who the audience they wanted to be for this was.
God, I hate these movies. I really do. But yeah, chat was very entertaining during that segment, so I really appreciate that. I really do. Clutch City fan for $10 says it felt good watching JD Advance walk on the View and handle these chicks' lives the way he did. They really made themselves look ridiculous. Day off work tax, hail to 199, happy Jessica, thank you. And we are going to watch that here in just a minute. Josiah says crying about diversity when she's pretending to be white with that hair is hilarious. 100%, 1000%. Packy Proton says Rosie said calling Big Mike is homophobic. Also, don't the Obamas love the password crowd? Why all this denying and being? Well, I mean, again, that's the argument. There is. I thought that trans was wonderful and beautiful and should be celebrated, and it's the most amazing thing in the world, and we should all tell everyone how beautiful it is. Yet the moment that someone accuses Michelle Obama of being trans, suddenly they lose their mind. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. Nothing about the violent, disgusting attack on Michelle Obama. These extremists are sick. Mike Davis says, being trans is now violent and disgusting with you? Wow. It's almost like you're telling on yourself. If trans is so beautiful and stunning and wonderful, why are you getting so offended that someone accused Michelle Obama of being trans? It's almost like you know what everyone else knows, or you wouldn't be getting offended. Pretty interesting when you think about that. Pretty interesting indeed. Joan Rivers died a few days after the comment. Yes, she did. She absolutely did. Phil says, lurking today, I'm one of the good ones, Tax. Thank you. Andy says, if Yoda made it with Sydney Sweeney. Vic says, E.T. go home. Drew Bar says she hasn't married yet, like the rest of them. Packy Proton says, every time this lady appears on screen, Night on Disco Mountain needs to play. The dread approaching section. Lord Bozo says, performative patriotism tax paid gladly. The Bella Stella says, is that Samuel L. Jackson in a wig meme? I think that's going to be on Gary's next Odyssey video as the thumbnail. Just put a picture of Jamel Hill. You know, that's all you got to do. Just put that. You'll be good. Jeremy the Cyborg says, I despise basketball as a sport, but I know who Jordan, Bird, Pippen, Shaq, and Kobe are. Could name a single player name. Well, you could name one. But outside of that, I would, if you don't know anything about it, you probably couldn't name anyone else. Or Steph Curry, maybe. But yeah, that's about it. Normal Man says, help, I've been taken in by some Mexican fans at FIFA. They have been doing nothing but feeding me hot tamales for 48 hours, and I really need to get off the phone and explode. Thank you, Norm Almad. L to you. Packy Brothers says, Angle, please forget about Breaking Guthrie. I did see there were some small updates to Breaking Guthrie, but I don't care. Bridge Too Far says, Cindy Lou, what the F? Voldemort 199 says now Tucker is saying that Butler was faked by Trump. He is F. Where did he say that? I mean, I know he had alluded to that a while back. Is there something new? Reagan says she looks like a fake ass wannabe Hannah Montana. Black Snape says, do people not know flyovers are needed? Pilots and planes need non-combat hours for certifications. Flyovers do that and serve as a recruiting tool. Don't bring logic into this. Jeremy, did you hear Ian McKellen got TDS? I did. I mean, Ian McKellen's had it for a long time. But let me see if I can pull that up. I did have that. Let's see. Yeah, I saw I bookmarked it the other day, but that's not like he's had it for a long time, so it's not really surprising that he ranted about Trump. Mar-a-Lago specifically. Most actors have TDS, not a shocker. Yeah, and I mean, again, I think Gandalf is the greatest movie character ever. So Ian McKellen is a legend, and nothing's going to change that in my eyes. But he did this on promotion for a Marvel movie. And I'm like, is that the road you want to go down? Because I'm not sure if that's a very smart road to go down. I don't think we want to do this. I'll see if I can find it. But it was pretty widespread yesterday. People were tagging. And here it is right here. Here we go right here. Ian McKellen on Magneto destroying New Jersey and Avengers Doomsday. The Russo brothers told me to make it look as if you hate what you're destroying, so I stood there and shouted Mar-a-Lago. That's so original. That's so original. Let's talk about the most impressive part of all of this. He's like 190. So I guess respect for being like 190 and still being to, get up on stage and tell everyone how much you hate Trump. But yeah, he's senile, don't take it seriously. I mean, it's just not surprising because it's who he's always been like this. I would say 99% of all the prominent actors in Hollywood that you like have this similar opinion. And that's just the truth. With that said, he's still the GOAT. And his performance is unmatched. His Gandalf and Gary Oldman's Gordon, probably my two favorite movie characters ever. And nothing's gonna change that. But yeah, lunatic doesn't. And the fact is this is not going to be good for them. If you want to build your marketing for Doomsday around Trump derangement syndrome, go ahead and do that. Marvel, go ahead. Let's see how that ends up for you. But I'm sure that let's see here. Hector Brothers has got that one. Zini Biscuits is that was the craziest goalpost moving I've seen. Good Lord. It was like the Bama Vols game where they took the goalpost and carried it off. Lord Brothers says on Jamel Hill, I will still use the same quote from soccer coach Mark. I don't know how you say it. If I said I wanted to say what I wanted to say, I'd be suspended for 6 months.
Give me a second if you can hear me. I
let's
just
see,
want to make sure I can
Pyromorpheus
fucking
says,
gotta finish this
please, Jeremy,
properly.
look up the ET costume in British Vogue magazine. Jamel Hill's twin, JD Vance. JD Vance can handle the view by himself. Vance Rubio 2028. And Stormbreaker says, I think I saw Jamel Hill on the corner over the weekend at OBT here in Orlando, Florida. If you know, you know. Hail King Trump. Godzilla's Greaser says, Godzilla is the greatest movie character. Godzilla's Greaser thinks Godzilla is the greatest movie character. I never would have imagined that.
There's my something called Naproxen.
But we got to get to the big news of the day, and that is JD Advanced handled the cows.
Do you find that that works better than down?
So
works better than
this
what?
is great right now, okay?
I don't know.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Considering Tylenol doesn't do anything for me, I can't say.
JD Vance is not Josiah says Lord of the
Damn,
Rings
dog.
is the greatest.
How many tablets do you usually take of the naproxen?
And I've said many times, they're not my favorite movies. They're the greatest movies. And that is really not up for debate. The Lord of the Rings trilogy are the greatest
Bumping up that
movies.
dosage.
You have no argument if you disagree. You have zero argument. They're not my favorite, but they are the greatest ever. Okay, so let's listen to this right here from argument if you disagree. You have zero. Not up for debate. The side black people. JD Vance is not having it. Josiah says Lord of the Rings are the greatest films of all time, and it isn't close. I agree. And I've said many times, they're not my favorite movies. They are the greatest movies ever made. And that is really not up for debate. The Lord of the Rings trilogy are the greatest movies ever made. And you have no argument if you disagree. You have zero argument. They're not my favorite, but they are the greatest ever made. Okay, so let's listen to this right here from the Congress point of view, trying to try to do these things.
What do black people do to this administration? That has led to really stigmatize folks of color. And you know how it is. You have folks of color in your family. So when you see things,
Like what? What are you talking about?
all kinds of removal. And you know how hard it is. You have folks of color in your family.
Sure.
So when you see, things, the Emmett Till stuff
Like
coming
what?
down, or
What are you
them
talking
doing
about?
all kinds of removal of information of black heroes. How does that sit with you?
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just, I know Emmett Till was the kid. No, I want to know what she's.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
I'll be back.
factual point.
So in a lot of the museums,
She can't even think of her point. She can't even think.
there's so many. You know, where they're taking down the actual history that happened in this country.
What are you
Slavery
talking
happened,
about?
all kinds of stuff happened, and it seems that it has been very easy for this administration to remove that, and also to denigrate black folks who have worked their behinds off to get this American dream. How do you, I mean, you know that.
So that was actually very helpful intervention because I think the SWTOR is where allegedly the administration is holding back the appointments of people based on sexual license.
Black history getting erased from public spaces. Black cultural districts are being dismantled. Black leaders are being sidelined from our ranks. Where do Americans fit in this vision? Because it says
President Trump has literally endorsed Byron Donalds for the governor of Florida. Do you guys not count that? Does that not count? Byron Donalds isn't black, apparently. I hope he says that, because I haven't heard this full through.
We fit.
I think so.
something like 6,668 refugees.
Dude, the women on The View, you want to hear their arguments, but you can't even fucking, listen to them for more than 10 minutes. It's
Whoa,
excruciating,
dog.
dude. They're
What are you
actually
trying to
retarded.
say?
Well, they're genuinely unintelligent.
Sounds sexist to me, dog.
Good boy. Shockman. Hey, number ones.
Well, they
Today.
Which, by the way, I believe the stats
They deserve
show
your
that
sexism.
I believe the stats show far more women between 18 to 20 to 26.
Why do you hate women?
I'll tell you. I believe 31% of women 18 to 26 view men very unfavorably, where only 7% of men view.
You didn't fucking say shit, dude.
Well, there you go.
Fun.
Ada Wong and 30 FPS.
Fucking faggot broke his mic.
Nice.
You didn't say shit, dude.
What was your question?
You said you were gonna tell me why you hate women.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't fucking hear it. Sounds like you didn't say shit.
31% of women between 18 to 26 view men very unfavorably, and only 7% of men view women very unfavorably. There we go.
And you're one of those 7%.
I never said that.
Well, you fucking hate the women, right?
That's what you're.
I asked you. No, I literally just asked
You're
you.
asking me with a non
why you hate women, and no, you asked. I fucking asked you why you hate women, and you're like, I'm about to tell you, and then you just say that. So I'm assuming you're part of that 7% who views women unfavorably, right? Because you just said you fucking hate them.
Like
You
me
fucking piece of shit.
When did
So
you stop beating
fucking.
your wife? That's just a stupid. It's a non sequitur.
I don't beat my wife. I beat my meat.
But now you're just denying it.
Yeah, just like you're denying hating women.
Yeah, but you're denying beating your wife.
No, I beat my wife.
Oh, okay.
So you hate women, right?
No.
Nice. Fucking faggot. Why are you so gay, dude? How about that? That's the question I should be asking you. Why are you so
considering
fucking
you're
gay?
always the first person to
fucking
bring
piece
up
of
weird
shit
like that, try to
You
insinuate things.
fucking piece of shit.
I think it's up to you.
Fuck you. Dog, they're making a movie about a guy getting eaten by a whale, dog.
Ladies and
Doesn't he
gentlemen, welcome
live,
to the
though?
show. My
You
name is Matt
fucking
Morris, and
know
you
that.
are tuning into the Morris Report. And
I
today,
don't
I'll tell
know.
you what, boy howdy,
Does he get
we have
shot
some
out or thrown up?
absolutely massive news to go through today.
Is it
First
like
off,
is it
there
what
is
the-
now
what the
a
Moby Dick movie or
federal
whatever, where he gets
investigation into
swallowed and then
Gavin
has to live in the
Newsom's
fucking-
inner circle down in
shit like
California.
that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
this morning we just got
I
some
don't know if
brand
it's a
new
Moby Dick,
information.
but yeah,
really,
it's one of those
some
whales.
shocking new details as to what is really going on here, the true nature of these investigations.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Investigations,
The fucking
and
whale is
as a little bit
terrifying.
of a spoiler here, folks.
In Pinocchio.
Well, I think it's
Monstro.
fair to say that Gavin Newsom is pretty much
I still have nightmares about that fucking thing, dude.
and also, a group of over
It's
2
Monstro.
insane
That fucking whale is not,
radicals
like,
attempted
it's
to
not
stage
whale size. It's like a
domestic
fucking,
terror attack against the
it's
recent
giant. Because it could swallow a
event at
fucking
the White
boat.
House. It took place 2 days ago. But here's the deal.
Yeah, it's got
This
fucking
morning,
teeth.
we just got some very
I don't know,
curious
it's got like human teeth in there, dude.
that pretty much completely changes the entire story and blows the lid off of all of this. We're going to break all of that down. And then on top of
Monstro.
that, Vice President J.D. Vance just made a special guest appearance inside of the mental asylum, the Nut House, otherwise known as the daytime talk show called The View. And well, let's just say that things pretty much went exactly how you would expect them to go. We're going to break all of that down as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
I wish they made
make sure to
movies
hit
like-
that like button. Do me a favor.
like,
Make sure to follow,
Pinocchio
like,
and
subscribe. And also, hey, make sure to check out the podcast, this very show, on Apple iTunes as well
Yeah,
as
dog.
Spotify.
I mean,
Follow over
probably
there,
get
drop a
AI to
five-star
do
review.
something
You know you want
similar.
to. But ladies and gentlemen, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and just get right into the show. Now, first off,
Well, you have to spend like
ladies and
$7,000
gentlemen, yesterday afternoon, disgraced California State
These people that make
Gavin
these fucking
Newsom is his
clips
name.
and
He actually came forward and said that he's currently under federal DOJ,
First
that is
of all, what do you
Department of
even
Justice
have?
investigation. He said that the Trump administration is weaponizing the Justice Department to
Monthly
try to
subscription.
crush Newsom's 2028 presidential aspirations.
I think there's a new profession called prompt engineer. It's specifically on how to make an AI do what you want.
Completely destroys Gavin Newsom's entire narrative. And on top of that, I'll tell you what, as things currently seem, Newsom actually came forward with this entire story in the first place in what can only be described as a
It's kind of like
desperate
trying to start a
last-ditch
new
effort
game.
to get ahead
There's so much to the game that
the
you'll never
inevitable. Now, folks, we're going to break all of this down, but first, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, once again, find the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But now, folks,
Monstro.
Gavin Newsom himself first had to say about all of this yesterday afternoon. As he said, today, my wife and I joined Donald Trump's hit list. He has directed his Department of Justice to investigate us. They have not found a crime. They are simply trying to find one. He isn't coming after me because of mean tweets, but because I am considering running for president. He hates that I consistently call him out. He is simply the most corrupt president in all of American history. We have nothing to hide, says Gavin Newsom. Mr. President, come after me. I'm not going anywhere. The country is watching. And then, of course, alongside that written statement, he uploaded almost a 5-minute long video where he effectively says the same thing and complains about how evil President Trump is. He's weaponizing the DOJ. You want to talk about weaponizing the DOJ? Let's talk about what happened the last time the Democrats were running the country. That is truly what DOJ weaponization looks like. Did Gavin Newsom speak out against that when Biden's DOJ was hunting Donald Trump and all of his political supporters and allies? His lips were zipped. Now he has a problem, though. But also, like I said, this entire characterization that Gavin Newsom has given us is just completely and totally off base. We have a source. Check this out. A source familiar with the situation says that there are actually several investigations ongoing relating to Governor Gavin Newsom. I'm told they are focused on his wife's taxes and his chief of staff. Very curious. They did not originate from the main DOJ, so these investigations did not originate from the main DOJ, but rather they're out of Sacramento and involve numerous whistleblowers. Spaghetti guys. The DOJ is at
You ever
this
seen a
moment
whale
so far
sneeze,
declining
dog?
to comment on this entire situation. For a little bit of a report here, before we really break all this down and I tell you exactly what the deal is, take a listen to.
Oh, is that how they got? Is that how they got out?
Yeah, they started a fire in his mouth. And he fucking sneezed.
Well, I guess smoke can make you sneeze.
Declining to comment on this entire situation.
Dog, you want somebody to light a fire in your fucking mouth? Burn some fucking wood in your mouth?
I tell you exactly what the deal is.
See if you could.
This morning, California Governor Gavin Newsom says
Nice.
President Trump is using the power of the Justice Department to launch a political hit job against him.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one.
Trump and Newsom have been battling for years. The president even suggested last year that he should be arrested amid clashes over immigration enforcement with border czar Tom Homan. Now Newsom says Trump is using the Justice Department to come after him for one reason.
He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president. Because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit.
The governor didn't specify what the probe is about, but sources familiar with the matter tell ABC News investigators in California have been examining Newsom's wife's taxes. He says she's done nothing wrong.
You can subpoena my records. You can investigate me. You can harass me. Put my name on every and any enemy's list you have, but leave my wife and family out of your personal endeavor.
On Capitol Hill, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche refusing to answer questions.
The Justice Department investigating Gavin Newsom. Can you explain that?
I'm not here to make this is not.
Now we've reached out to the Justice Department directly, and they aren't commenting either. Meanwhile, Newsom is really leaning into this fight, saying in a fundraising email for his political group, quote, "Mr. President, come after me. I'm not going anywhere, and the country is watching."
Listen, out of all the guys on the face of the planet to say, hey, come at me, bro, I'm not sure that I would say that to Donald freaking Trump, of all people, the President of the United States, let alone Donald freaking Trump, come at me, bro, really? I don't think that's going to go Gavin Newsom's way. That's not going to turn out in a positive way for Governor Gavin Newsom. Let me ask you a question here. Does Gavin Newsom seem a little bit worried, a little bit panicked here? Yes or no in the comment section? Duh, he does. This guy is
they're gonna shut down Xbox.
Here's the thing that Gavin Newsom and all of his statements over the last 24 hours, here's the thing that he has neglected to mention. Just a month ago, pretty much 4 weeks on the nose.
No fucking wonder these people can't fucking fix a goddamn customer service complaint, dude. Like, holy fuck.
Actually, guess what? Pled guilty in federal court to not one, not two, 3 felony counts. Can you believe that? This is Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff. What did she plead guilty to? Conspiracy to commit bank fraud and wire fraud? Subscribing to a false tax return, so working off of a false tax return, and also making false statements to a federal law enforcement agent. 3 guilty charges. She pled guilty to all of this.
Change the fucking passwords, you piece of shit.
In fact, as it would seem,
it's your goddamn company.
This woman, Gavin Newsom's
you can fucking ban the account and she can change the password.
She was actually, as it would seem, co-conspiring
it's like, hey, We've
with
made a
series
system,
Gavin
a
Newsom
security
political
system
Whoa.
that's completely
who
independent from
divert
everything else. It's like,
campaign
that's smart.
finances and funding to their
You
own
control your own security
personal
system?
bank
That's
accounts.
fucking retarded.
Why are you getting
fucking
angry,
facts,
dog?
my
My
question.
question: if this whole criminal investigation into Newsom
Dog,
and his
they
wife
have
and his political
they can
allies,
reserve the
if all
right
of this
to
is nothing more
fucking
than
give you
than
the
an evil,
fucking
dastardly Donald
password,
Trump hit
dog.
job, weaponization of the DOJ for no reason at all whatsoever, then, hey, Gavin Newsom, why did your own chief of staff just plead guilty to 3 federal charges? Huh? Not exactly a good look. But then, of course, that's enough about the former chief of staff for Gavin Newsom. Let's go ahead and talk about Gavin Newsom's current wife. Jennifer is her name, who is also, we now know, under federal investigation. And why? You might ask, why is she under federal investigation? Well, seems like a pretty similar series of reasons, actually. You see, IRS filings allegedly show that Jennifer Newsom runs a non-profit organization called the Representation Project, is what it's called, which is largely funded, almost exclusively funded, by Gavin Newsom's political donors. But over the past decade, you see, over the last 10 years or so, Jennifer took $1.8 million in salary from her own nonprofit organization that's funded by Gavin Newsom's political donors, her husband. She then sent $2.1 million more from her own nonprofit over to her different for-profit production company. It's a business she owns called Girls Club Entertainment, is what it's called. So she's funneling money from her nonprofit over to her for-profit, funding her own private venture. So that's nearly $4 million, just about, in total money flowing from a donor-funded nonprofit to herself and her own for-profit company. And once again, as we've stated just a moment ago, it was Joe Biden's DOJ that actually opened up the investigation into all of this. Donald Trump's DOJ didn't kick off these investigations. These investigations into all of this corruption into Gavin Newsom's sphere of influence here, this was actually kicked off during the Biden era. And the reason why is because, guess what? Everything that we're talking about here is big-time illegal, not allowed federal crimes. That's what we're talking about here, folks. That's why the DOJ is involved. That's why they have been involved investigating for years now. This is not a recent development, but you might want to know something here that's actually, frankly, absolutely hilarious.
Dog, what value do you bring to the company, dog?
Place here. Very obviously, some corruption has taken place here, specifically with Gavin Newsom's wife, who actually falls under what's called behested payments. These are donations that are made at the request or direction of an elected official. In this case,
why should we
typically to
hire
a nonprofit or a charity organization. In this case, the charity nonprofit operated by Gavin Newsom's wife. But well, the reason why I tell you about behested payments here,
Nah, I didn't, dog. You walked into the store and handed me your resume, dog. Why should we hire
increased transparency into the entire behested payment process, allowing all of us Americans across the country to see exactly where and how all of this money is moving behind the scenes.
Fucking guy wants me to pay him, but he can't fucking offer value to the
payments in 2021 that Gavin Newsom at the time publicly supported that have now actually, it would seem,
why do you think you deserve
over Gavin Newsom exposing all of their illicit, fraudulent behavior. Folks,
you think you fucking deserve money, you piece of shit? You think you deserve any semblance of a happy life?
Here's what's going on here. Gavin Newsom is absolutely panicking. He knows.
You know, back in my day, we had to work all 2 months to buy a house. You lazy shit.
Yeah, you don't need to walk down 3 fucking houses.
And so now, he's attempting what he's doing here by raising awareness. I'm under investigation.
We got it way harder than you,
posting that
dog. Yeah.
5-minute long video. What he's doing here is attempting to get ahead of the
We
storm.
didn't have AI
He's trying to get out
to
in front of this
help
thing in
us,
what can only be
dog.
described as an
We
incredibly
didn't have the
desperate, pathetic,
computers like today. You got it so easy, dog. Just fucking pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Dog, what if I don't have
Not
any
going to be exposing it already is all of their crimes, all of
You
their
gotta
fraud, all of their
apply
evil,
yourself.
really is what's going
You
on
gotta
here.
work
I'll tell
harder,
you
do
what, right
more
now,
applications.
But yeah, like, I love that argument. It's like,
the
pull you up by your
nuisance.
bootstraps,
You know
right?
what?
But what if I don't have boots? You
America,
gotta apply yourself, just get a job. It's okay, but it's not the
ladies
same
and
thing
gentlemen,
as
I
pulling
know a
yourself
lot
up
of
by
us
your
here in the audience.
bootstraps.
I know me. I know
So
you
you're just
folks in
saying
the
the same
audience.
thing,
You've been
but in a
sitting there like,
different way.
okay, we all know this guy is corrupt. We all know Gavin Newsom is, I don't know, one of the slimiest guys to ever operate in politics.
Saying
Ever in all of
you
human
gotta
history. The
fucking
guy is,
apply
he's like the
It's like, I wonder
prominent
what my cousin is gonna say when she's like, why don't I get a job?
Right?
And it's
He's
like, okay,
textbook
where should
definition.
I work?
Political slime ball. You see a picture of Gavin Newsom, 100%. But we're saying, okay, so when is the justice? So where's the justice?
Walmart,
Where's the
or a dollar
investigation?
store,
How are we going to
or
nail this guy down? Figuratively
fucking
speaking.
hardware store. It's like,
We
okay,
might now
cool.
just be on the cusp of that.
This
At
is all
minimum
news to
on
me,
his
bro.
wife, his former chief of staff.
Whoa.
Coffee shop,
Why
yep,
are you so
okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
mad?
thank you all very much for tuning in today. Hit that like button. Make
It's
sure
not
to
very
subscribe to
nice,
us.
dog. They're
We
just
have another
trying to
story here.
help you.
I don't think they are.
And this one is just absolutely insane.
But dog, they're
Woke
just
up this
giving
morning, I said I couldn't
friendly
believe it. Let's
advice.
get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, the FBI has just this morning shut down
It's basically
and
like saying,
dismantled
if
an
I want to know how to
insane
catch a football
domestic
properly, they're just like, just
camera
catch the ball.
that
It's like,
have
but
been
how do I do it
targeting
properly?
the
Just
recent
catch the ball.
250th anniversary
It's not an actual
UFC
answer.
event
Whoa, dog.
that just took place on the White House lawn 2 nights ago, Sunday night. Seriously, I kid you not. A
But dog,
group
you
of
just have to catch the
2
ball.
or more,
What more do you want to
maybe
know?
close to 30 individual extremists had been planning, scheming, plotting to carry out a series of explosive drone attacks. They were planning on breaking into the White House, and also they were planning on indiscriminately attempting to gun down as many people at this event as they possibly
Can't
could.
fucking catch the ball if you can't catch the ball. You know what I'm saying? I can't fucking
Make sure to
catch
hit
the
that like
ball
button.
if you
Make sure
catch
to
the
subscribe.
ball.
Make sure to follow and subscribe to the
It's like, bro,
podcast
just get
over
up
on
and walk. It's
Spotify
like,
and
but my
Apple
legs don't work. It's
Podcasts
like,
if you haven't
bro,
already. But folks,
pull yourself
let's
up by
take a
your
look at this
boots.
report. Let's break it all down here.
This breaking news just into the Fox newsroom. The FBI disrupting this alleged plot, targeting the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House. Officials telling Fox a network of
How many
nearly
applications
24
have you done, dog?
potential plotters were identified with at least 5 people in custody right now.
Since last week, dog.
To Fredericksburg, Virginia to make
I think
final
last week
preparations for the attack. And the alleged plan allegedly included explosive packed
How
drones
many,
hitting
dog?
buildings near the event, forcing a mass evacuation, and then steering crowds, get this,
You're fucking kidding me. You gotta do 100 per week.
A second wave was then planned to storm the
Nah,
White
dog,
House
you gotta
gate.
do
The FBI
100 per
first
week,
learned
dog. You're not
of the threat on June
applying
10th and worked
yourself.
with law enforcement across multiple states to stop it. FBI Director Kash Patel saying, quote, "We are built to detect, respond to,
Nice.
and bring to justice those who threaten the lives of American citizens, particularly during large gatherings
Proud of
like the
yourself, dog.
historic UFC 250 fight." That's exactly what we did here. Over 4,300 people were in attendance for UFC 250, which included 1,200 service members. Luckily, nobody was harmed during the FBI's takedown. The event went off without a hitch.
Thank God.
These 24
Got tomorrow off.
they were scheming and plotting online in private secret
That
chat
fucking
rooms on the
Tokyo,
internet. And they had a whole plan. Luckily, this got thwarted and intercepted, but their plan was effectively to strap a bunch of explosives.
You know
to
what
some
my favorite
recreational
pastime
drones
is now,
behind
dog?
the Best Buy downtown. Fly the drones in, start blowing up soft targets, and then after everybody's panicking, the people are funneling out through the exits. They were going to have shooters set up.
Just
Just
messaging whores what their rates are.
trying to escape from the explosions. That was their plan. This is absolutely sick. It's
I love
mentally
doing
ill, but
that.
you know what?
Finding out how poor I am.
Oh my
I've got something
god.
else I want you to take a look at. Coming out of Bill Malugin.
Why is that
reporting for
funny,
Fox News.
dude?
just
What the fuck is your problem?
Because I used to do that
Details
too.
via federal arrest affidavit
Nice,
revealed that a
dude.
Californian man named Michael
You know
Allen
the struggle,
Thomas was
dog.
one
I
of the
love when-
alleged organizers
I love when they have like
of
the ad
this
and you
alleged
still ask
UFC
them,
White
and they
House
don't tell you
terror
because
plot.
they're
Yeah.
just looking at the
Feds
ad.
say that he's already admitted
Yeah.
he
Oh
admitted
my
he believes
God,
the
dude.
U.S. government is run
Yeah,
by
that's funny,
elites
dog.
It's
who
I'm
Pissing off
sacrifice
these
innocent
women.
children, had involvement
is,
with
dude.
Jeffrey Epstein, and are protected by President Trump.
Yeah.
So he's one of those guys. Okay, so he's one of those guys. Okie dokie. Investigators took screenshots of the signal chats. That's the
You know, sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'll see you in an hour.
Details of the
I
plot
don't
were
even.
discussed,
I
and
just turn off
maps
my
of
phone.
The UFC event were shown with suggestions on where
Oh,
snipers
that's funny.
should be placed. The feds also recovered rifles and
Just use multiple
ammunition.
numbers so they can never
Sources tell
figure
Fox
out,
News colleagues
oh, that was
those
the
in
guy who
custody are
fucking wasted my time.
American citizens, and there was no
Yeah.
foreign nexus believed to be at play. I'll put this up here. There's pictures of the signal chat. The feds also say that this individual's mother is the one who made the initial call to the police when she became concerned about the activities of her son, at which point the police investigated. They got involved after mom picked up the phone. God bless her soul. She's a hero. Turning in her own son who's mentally ill and planning stuff like this. God bless her. At which point the police looked into this stuff and discovered this wider web or terror plot. They
Oh, I
uncovered
feel
the
shittier
entire
opening up
scheme
Instagram than I do Realist.
or more people. But then we
because
also
that
have
shit is more
this. I
real.
want to pull this up here. Take a listen to this.
Instagram
We're
is
thankful
fake.
that this did
It's
not turn
fucking-
into an actual plot. Those two men, as you mentioned, who were arrested in California and are being charged with conspiracy to commit murder.
depression
They
is
appeared
so
in federal
nervous.
court in California yesterday. A teenager is facing charges in Ohio. John, around 4,300
Well,
people
it's like,
were in
what's
attendance
worse,
for
watching
UFC
videos of,
250,
like for me,
including
watching videos of nice
1,200
cars on
service
YouTube or
members.
actually going somewhere and
Investigators tell
seeing the
Fox
nice
the alleged
cars.
plan was to use an
Seeing the nice
explosive-laden
cars makes me
drones to
feel
hit buildings
way
near the
better and
event,
doesn't make
which
me feel
could
as
force a
empty.
mass evacuation and steer crowds towards a pre-staged sniper team, a quote second wave,
I guess so.
allegedly planning to storm the White House. One suspect allegedly told investigators the goal was to target, quote, capitalist elites or billionaires or politicians who receive donations from the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, known as AIPAC. Now, in Ohio, a 19-year-old named Tyson Crawford, according to multiple sources, was taken into custody. He allegedly spent $3,000 of his graduation money to purchase ammunition, guns, and magazines for the alleged attack in California. Two men, Brian Roa and Michael Allen Thomas, were arrested and, as I mentioned, appeared in court
It's
yesterday.
over,
Authorities
dog.
have 23
It
people
is
on the
over
list
before it
as
even
part of a
begun.
potential network of alleged plotters, and there is more. Investigators uncovered encrypted chats on cell phones where people allegedly discussed attacking the UFC event. And one of the people in the chat identified some 23 users discussing what's called pre-operational activity. And some, John, allegedly planned to travel to Fredericksburg, Virginia, just south of Washington, D.C., a day or two before the fight to prepare for the alleged attack. As we go on throughout the day, more of these court documents are going to be...
So, folks,
What's so
here is the
fun,
super confusing thing at the moment. Let's get these couple details here.
Say
This
what? I
chat
don't even remember what I said.
some of the young men, 23 or more individuals in this group chat here. They were upset about the Epstein elite, the Epstein cover-up. They're upset about...
Like, I just wonder what they think.
You
Like,
offer
this guy's so
back.
stupid.
billionaires, the millionaires, the
It says it
billionaires,
right
gotta
there,
shut
like
those
right
guys
beside
down.
the phone number.
And
So-
they're upset at...
I'm just like,
what else did they think that the Trump administration is like...
I just fucking,
Which is one of these stupid things...
there's a message, do you offer bareback? And they're like, fuck off.
It was reported on an anonymous tip line. What are just one of these stupid things, right? And so... the reason I
Holy
go through
fuck, dude.
all of this right
It's like
here
the
is
one thing
because at
they
this
wouldn't
point,
offer.
It's hard to tell whether or not this was,
Yeah.
frankly, somebody on the far left, on the
You'd be surprised
stupid
how many
end of the
fucking
far
do,
left,
though.
or, I hate to say it,
That's so funny, dude.
And of the far right.
That's amazing.
You know, they talk about
Holy
horseshoe theory.
fuck.
You know, on both those two tips of the horseshoe, they kind of come together a little bit. A little bit.
I don't know
hard
what to
tell.
call that, but
But
there's
either
a
way,
word for that.
mind-controlled, psyoped, radicalized,
Nice.
just stupid stuff going on here. Now,
Not
speaking
hubris,
about
but
that,
like-
Katie Vance, Vice President this
Holy,
morning,
that's
actually
funny.
No, it's called Abandoned. It's called I Don't Give a Fuck About the World Anymore.
We learned about this, what, about 30 minutes ago, an hour
what did
ago
you
in the
say
middle of
after?
our show.
Sure. You said something
Why do you
else.
think they're telling us this? Because I know there's a lot going on
Did
behind the
I?
scenes with the FBI.
Sure.
We don't always find out. Why do you think they're telling us this now? And what's
I don't
your
even
reaction?
remember.
I think they're telling us because the scale of
Well, I
the
guess I don't know what part you're talking
for us to
about.
be as transparent as we can be about these ongoing investigations. We'll tell the American people what's going on.
No, I'm just like, yeah, you fucking offered bareback.
This is a very, very dark stuff. And unfortunately,
Yeah, they'll say no.
This is what happens.
They'll
when
say,
people
fuck off.
But then you said
up
something.
so loud that disagreeing with somebody
Yes.
is a cause for violence. That's the place that we've come to, unfortunately.
But I don't always.
with too much of our
I'm just like, yeah,
we gotta tell
in my
everyone
head,
to tone it down. And I hate to say
even
this,
before,
it's true.
like
You see more political
it's hard to explain. Like
violence
sometimes I look
coming from the
at
left
like an
and the
ad,
right these days.
and I'm like, this is
Everybody
bullshit.
has a role to
This
cut
is
this stuff
a
out.
fucking
And I
scam,
think
but
a
I'll
lot of
still
my
fucking
Democratic
message.
colleagues in Washington have got to look themselves
Just
in the
because I'm
mirror
just
and
like,
say,
yeah, I
why
don't
is so much of this
got
political
anything
violence
else
coming
better
from
to
this
do.
spectrum?
This is just
Maybe
how I'm
they
gonna
can
spend my
do
life.
Well, I mean, he's
So I'll just fucking ask. And like,
It's all of this
if like a bunch of red flags don't go off,
generally almost
I might entertain
99% of the time
going to see them.
coming from the far left.
But more often
And
than not, it's just, yeah,
Just like the
I'm just
left
jerking off,
general,
texting,
in general,
just getting off on the idea of going. That's basically it.
Engaging in rhetoric like this. So it's not just the far crazy left. It's like the entire left that is engaging in rhetoric that is very clearly explicitly designed to manufacture behavior like this. These sort of domestic terror attacks. Of course, that's what they want. And it keeps happening time and time again. Now, as we've seen, thank God the Trump administration is actually taking this stuff seriously. The DOJ, the FBI,
So you know how many people got fucking ripped off on fucking
I've got something else I want you all to take a look
on
at
these
here. I think
fucking
you're gonna like
websites?
this. Beyond this UFC attempted terror attack that got shut down,
just
we
like
got a bombshell
random dudes
report
or
earlier
whatever?
this morning. Breaking news,
Yeah.
the DOJ announces charges against 15
Got
members
ripped
of
off,
left-wing
catfish.
anti-ICE.
Like
It's a left-wing anti-ICE group called Direct Action Minnesota, for allegedly surveilling, harassing, and confronting federal agents. 15 of them federal
like there are
charges.
ones where they'll
Now,
take pictures of other chicks, right?
maybe I'm getting old here. Back in my day, we would just call these people Antifa members. Is it safe to say these are just some
I
of the
feel like-
Antifa freaks that we've seen time and time again? We know what they're doing
I
out
feel
there.
like what happens sometimes
I guess they're
is
part of some group called Direct
they'll
Action
take
Minnesota.
pictures
And now
of
15
maybe a
of
chick
them
that has a similar
are
skin
facing
tone,
federal charges. We have a report here. Take a listen to this.
Today, a federal indictment was unsealed, charging 15 defendants with conspiracy to impede or injure federal officers and other charges related to efforts of two Minneapolis-based Antifa groups that violently opposed the enforcement of federal law in our state.
Antifa.
The defendants are members and associates of Direct Action Minnesota. They are charged with
Yes, let's fucking go,
conspiracy to
dude.
impede or injure a federal
Holy
officer,
shit.
solicitation to commit a crime of violence,
Finally, dude,
interstate threats,
I beat
interstate
I got
stalking,
over 190K on
assault
that
on a
drift zone.
federal officer, and destruction of government property.
What's the prize?
Me knowing that I can do it.
Earlier this morning,
If there weren't a bunch of
agents
fucking
of
hackers
Homeland
and
Security investigations
people using exploits and
conducted a
fucking all-wheel
coordinated
drive
law
when it's
enforcement
drifting, I'd probably be
operation
top 2K.
culminating in the arrest of 12 of the
Good for
15
you, dude.
defendants.
You proud of yourself? Is your life
One
complete?
defendant had already
Nothing
been
better than
in
these people, man.
custody
Need
on
to
other
fucking
federal
use
charges.
Gay bullshit just to
Two
fucking
defendants remain
get a good
fugitives at
score.
large.
Wow.
Today's charges and arrests reflect a broad federal
You use
effort
all-wheel drive in a drift
to
zone.
address organized, lawless
banned
behavior
permanently.
which seeks to disrupt the execution of federal law, endanger law enforcement, and importantly, endanger the very communities that these defendants falsely claim to be protecting.
So, folks, I'll tell you what, good news here today. Really great news on all fronts for those of you that have been sitting on the edge of your seat waiting, praying, waiting to see some of these insane, radical, violent, far-left freaks finally get arrested and slapped with federal charges. That is what is currently happening. We just arrested 50. Well, we arrested 12 of them. One was already arrested, and there's 2 of them on the run. The final 2, you know it's not going to be long for it's raining also. Folks, we've been hearing this from the Trump administration. We're hearing this from the DOJ. We're hearing this from Trump himself. Long gone are the days during which all of these Antifa freaks, far-left, radical progressives, domestic terrorists that we saw at the UFC event, long gone are the days during which these
said I'm gonna roleplay like I'm in 9/11 tomorrow.
do whatever they want, tear apart our society, rip apart our country.
Yeah, that's how I spend my days off.
Total impunity. No repercussions whatsoever. Those days are over.
What I do is I light like 50 cigarettes in my room and I pretend I'm like running from the building.
Get them off the
It's a fucking
stop letting
ash.
them terrorize our society.
Yeah.
You know what? All of this that we're talking about here, good. This is exactly what we need to see if we finally want to truly and actually put America first. Folks, we've been saying it here on this show for
It's like
a
I got
long time.
multiple monitors too, so I can like really get into it, you know?
2026 is going to be the year of criminal justice and criminal accountability.
You know, sometimes I roleplay the firefighters, like giving like motivational speeches to like imaginary people.
Well, what you could do, you can, on your multiple monitors, you can have those Christmas fireplace screens going on, so you
during the
can
auto pen era. And I'm not even talking about the 15, 20, 25 million illegal aliens that came in here and messed up the country. Yeah, of course, duh. I'm talking about all the Antifa, like
It's amazing.
homegrown, good old-fashioned,
I could have like one,
American, far-left,
I don't know, I could have the speakers just like sirens
here's one of the reasons
playing or whatever.
why we should not be importing
Ambulance sirens or whatever.
It's because we've got enough of them here already. We already
They're
have
fucking
problems
amazing, man.
with homegrown, all-American criminals, far-left nut jobs, okay? We've already got enough. We don't need to be importing more of them from Guatemala or wherever the hell they're coming from, right? Who's with me, okay? So there's that. Thank God we're shutting this stuff down, and we
I'm
are.
just like, dude, the amount of like chicks who fucking do this is disturbing.
The first administration of the White House, courtesy of Donald Trump. Now, ladies and gentlemen, another big
You
story
said it,
here.
right? There was one that was married, right?
Hit that like
And her
button. Make
husband
sure to
didn't even
subscribe.
know.
Now, we talk about JD.
Yeah. If what she's saying is true,
Vice
yeah.
President JD Vance just this morning made a very special guest appearance inside of the mental asylum, otherwise known as the daytime talk show, The View, featuring Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and all of your favorites. And I'll tell you what,
I summoned my wife for internet connection.
how you would expect them to go down. We're talking about a complete and total libtard meltdown. Pardon my language, but it's true. Now, folks, we're going to break all this down. We're going to watch all the highlights here and really put all this stuff under the
They're everywhere, man.
First, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also find us over on Spotify and Apple
This place ain't a
Podcasts.
fucking Disney
Over there
fairy
now
tale,
as well.
dog.
But
It's
folks,
a
let's start taking a look at this.
It's a
First
fucking
off,
Jewish
in the recent
nightmare,
days,
dog.
The lovely ladies of The View are still, if you can believe it or not, pushing
part of
this
the Disney fairy
completely
tale
ridiculous
before
and debunked Jeffrey Epstein narrative.
Yeah, dude.
It's so boring. Take a listen to this.
Appreciate this, but you know, one of the things you see in the Epstein emails is that Jeffrey Epstein hated Donald Trump, and that Donald Trump literally reported Jeffrey Epstein to the police. That's one of the things that came out of these files.
Best friends for about a decade. And remember, he signed that Transparency Act under duress when some Republican women, congresswomen like Lauren Boebert, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, did not give in to his pressure of not signing it. He brought Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room to pressure her into caving on not voting for that bill.
So let me respond to that. So let me respond to that. So number one is, yes, Donald Trump, he said this. He knew Jeffrey Epstein back in the 1980s. He also threw Jeffrey Epstein out of his club when he found out he was a creep and reported him to the police. That's something that the media often misses when it reports the story. They tell the fact that they knew each other in the 80s, which the president himself admits. They ignore the fact that he narked on him to the police and led ultimately to Jeffrey Epstein's downfall. To that point, Anna, you know the Republican Party. Well, it's one of the things that led to law enforcement investigation. But on the point that you made,
It was allegedly over a real estate deal that they got into a fight over.
but the email says actually
They didn't
he.
just know each other. Let's just be truthful and transparent here. They didn't just know each other. They were in front of
Already
these
gone on.
friends.
He reported him to the police. That's what I'm
Just
saying.
somebody
That
went
is
it again.
that is objectively true. But Anna made another point that I think I would be if I may. Because Anna's a very important point. This question about did Donald Trump release these files only under duress from Republicans? And Anna, you know the Republican Party probably better than I do. The idea that Donald Trump runs around afraid of Republican congressmen as opposed to the other way around is kind of crazy.
Folks, listen, we covered all of this stuff extensively as it was going down day by day months ago. The fact of the matter is this, the Epstein Transparency Act, I believe is what it was called, that bill would not have passed through the Senate, maybe not even the House, if Donald Trump himself had not gotten involved and said, hey, pass it. Donald Trump came out and said numerous times, I am instructing all the Republicans in the House and the Senate, pass this bill, let's get it out there, get it over with, I've got nothing to hide. Left wing doesn't want to talk about that, do they? And of course, you know, the entire left-wing incompetent narrative here is based off, like, there's one photo where Donald Trump happens to be standing next to Epstein in 1989, almost 40 years ago, and they're standing in the same room, and it's like, aha, gotcha, they were best friends. Folks, could you imagine if you personally were responsible for the illicit, crazy behavior of some person you happen to be in a photo with, or that you stood next to at one point for 5 minutes in your life? This standard is just absurd. This is ridiculous. And as J.D. Vance, our great vice president, said, listen, Donald Trump hit this guy out of his club in Mar-a-Lago in 2004. In 2005, we know for a fact, Donald Trump called the Palm Springs police, Palm County Police, whatever it's called, and actually said, hey, listen, this guy's being weird. That's what kicked off the very first police investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. And then we've also heard from the attorney representing dozens of Epstein's victims that Trump in 2008 and 2009 worked with him on behalf of the victims to keep Epstein inside of a prison cell. All of this is factually true.
There's like zero crime in Japan.
Either. But here's this. Then, J.D. Vance, well, the ladies on the view, they tried to push this narrative.
It's like very rare.
Because J.D. Vance didn't back or support Donald Trump in 2016, which he didn't. I guess necessarily Donald Trump is an evil person. It's so hard to make sense of what even their logic is. I'm like, what is their point again? I don't know. They're just insane.
First of all, it's been well covered that I was a critic of Donald Trump back in 2015, 2016. Now, obviously, I'm sitting here as the Vice President of the United States in the Trump administration. Well, Joy, a little humility, actually. I think that when you make predictions, and those predictions turn out to be false, you got to ask yourself, well, what made me wrong about that? What did I not understand or not appreciate? For example, I said that Donald Trump's economic policies would not lead to wage growth. They did in the first term. That was actually a major thing. I said that we couldn't bring back any of those factory jobs because I kind of had given into this idea that those jobs were disappearing, but actually Donald Trump saw a manufacturing boom during that administration. So there's a certain point where you say, you know, I made predictions about this. I ended up being wrong. And in politics and anything, I think it's important to just say, you know what? I got some things wrong, and I was wrong about him. He was first.
And you know what? Here's the deal. Okay, you're allowed to be wrong and change your mind once you get more information. The Democrats always like to bring up that J.D. Vance did not wholeheartedly support, or he was even critical of Trump in 2016. A lot of people were critical of Trump in 2016, but now support him to this day. You're allowed to get more information. You're actually allowed. I know this concept of learning and absorbing new information is a little bit difficult for the Democrats over there on the left sometimes. Over here on the right, what we tend to do is We learn, we get more information, we become more educated, and sometimes our opinion changes depending on this acquisition of new information. Okay? I know that's a novel concept over there on the left, but this is where you might even get a little bit upset. The ladies on The View, one of them in particular, tried to push this notion that it is unchristian to support President Trump. Take a listen to this.
To explain that good policy was maybe one of your justifications, but the quote and when you tweeted that or X'd it was not about policy. It was what Christians were willing to excuse. And that's the part I can't get past. What are you willing to excuse in the name of power?
Well, I would say fundamentally that one of the things I underappreciated about Donald Trump is that so many of the things that people said about him weren't actually true. Again, you talk about humility. Okay, so I see Donald Trump, I see a clip of him, or I see not even a clip of him, but reporting about something that he said, and I take it at face value. For example, let's just go back to one of the most controversial things Donald Trump said during the first term that I was wrong during the first campaign, is that I was led to believe by the stories. I read stories that said Donald Trump said that all Mexicans were rapists. He never said that. What he said is that the certain South American countries, Central American countries, were releasing criminals into our country, including Mexico. By the way, that was objectively true. So it's not so much Christians.
Here we go. Castro did that in 1980 with the Mariel boat lift. There have been many journalists, including CNN, where you used to work and be my colleague, that have tried to find evidence of that. There is no evidence that Maduro was releasing people from insane asylums or jails like Fidel Castro did do. This was made up, and we just can't, accept it without pushing back.
Anna, we know that there were people who were released from prisons who were encouraged to come into the United States.
It wasn't a Mariel, Mr. Vice President. It wasn't where it was like a purposeful release, open up the jails, open up the insane asylums, and let people flood Florida.
If you go, it may not have been like Mariel, but if you go back to the caravans that were happening in 22, 23, we know that those things were funded. They were.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot even believe that she would push back on this notion that you have poor, impoverished Latin American countries that are releasing criminals out of prison and saying, hey, go up to America, you'll make more money, just get out. Listen, we'll let you go as long as you get out of town and walk on up to America. There's a migrant caravan coming through. Yeah. Obviously, anyone with a functioning brain knows that that is exactly what was happening. Then, though,
God, I love how these people are fucking exploring these fucking drift zones, and I'm catering to their fucking how you should fucking do it, and I'm being penalized by fucking dead zones on the goddamn course.
Evil.
What a fucking faggot joke.
Separating illegal alien children from their illegal alien
That
parents.
ain't necessary, dog.
He's evil. Take a listen.
The majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their homes from their families. They're separating families. They're using children as bait.
But
the majority are not criminals.
But can I respond to that? Let me just say this. Okay. See, you talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions. But here's the point. Unless you enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people. And by the way,
Please hold on.
I appreciate that.
Can I say something here, maybe a little bit controversial? I might get in trouble for saying this. I am sick and tired of hearing about humanity. Humanity for illegal aliens. What about humanity for...
So I beat my score by almost 1,200, and it's not even gonna fucking get locked in.
Did you know F1 drivers actually brake backwards? It sounds crazy, but it's true. In a normal car, you gently press the brakes and slow down smoothly. But in Formula One,
I have to say I understand 100%, and I would do exactly the same if I would be in their situation. Because in the end of the day, what we're here for, it's fighting for a championship. And there's only one that can win the championship. And by the end of the year, if you think you would have lost the championship for exactly that point, you will ask yourself, not only yourself, all the fans and the TVs and the journalists and so on, why didn't you do so? If you go back to other years, in other teams, in other situations, in the last race, for example, there were clear team orders, and everybody accepts those. I can see, like in the years when we did it, because we were leading so much that people thought it was unnecessary, and I can agree on that one in a way, but in principle, no, I cannot. I fully accept, and I agree on what's going on. You have to do it in a way that is maybe nice and maybe not too obvious, make it a nice fight, but there's only one target, and that's winning the championship. I have to say.
It's a good point, Doug. If you want something, you can't think, oh, might be too mean to do this, because in 5 years you might be looking back on that one instance where it could have been the decider.
What exactly are you thinking of?
Well, no, I'm just taking it because Michael Schumacher, the GOAT of F1, said that, so I'm just agreeing because it makes sense.
Oh my God! You guys gotta see that? See that? Stare for me, woman. Oh, you're no cat!
Calls for celebration.
What you need is a good
Now, do
dose
you remember
of
when a couple of weeks ago
morphine.
we had this whole big situation whereby
It'll
the
make you
UK
forget about
was
your pain,
blocking
dog.
in the sense of preventing, denying entry to the United Kingdom for Hassan Piker, saying we don't want this guy, which already kind of surprised me. I gotta say, base Britain when it comes to that, and I can't say that. I mean, I haven't said braced Britain when it comes to the government. Have for the Patriots.
Must have done something fucked up in a previous life, dog.
Closer to the west, Keir Starmer has been in power. With that being said, this one, great, yes. So Hassan Piker didn't want him, which is kind of crazy because I would like to expect Labour to kind of like him, but no, not even the UK, not even the freaking police state that you have to show ID, we're going to arrest you for speech. One, have anything to do with the activists.
Probably fucking own slaves, dog.
Now, remember that? Well, we know. Hassan Piker reacts for being blacklisted from speaking at Denver-based event centers. Gee, I wonder why they blacklisted this.
Dog, I think it was worse than that,
We'll get back to that. But anyways, I would like to say, Hassan, come on. You should be happy. At least they didn't whitelist you, because that would have been 50 times worse for you, right? At least it's black-based. Better, right? Minorities, representation, and inclusivity, diversity. Anyways, let's see what it says, and what does he have to say. Let's see the depth of his philosophical elucubration. Let's go. I love it. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. But here's the thing, though. I'm actually interested in his choice of wardrobe, because I gotta say, his wardrobe into his clothes, it devolved. I think they're an excellent manifestation of a state of mind, because honestly, he literally went from alternative commie boy in a rich social campus in California to copying Nick Fuentes to whatever the heck this was, to 20th century totalitarian regime. What is this? You know, at this point, since you're a champagne socialist anyways, why don't you just add a little red band right here on the side with a very famous inverted Indian sacred symbol? I mean, at this point, you might as well have a drink. But anyways, let's see how he's gonna complain about it. Oh, this was that. So let's see how he's gonna complain about it. This one is 5 minutes. I don't think I can make, because 5 minutes with a Hassan Piker means that there is 1 minute and 14 seconds of speech, and the rest is 15 to 20 seconds long pauses. I don't even know how he's going to tolerate it. But it's a
I just found out there were like venue changes because I thought it was because like people were showing a lot of interest, and there were numerous venue changes. And the last venue that we arrived at, they canceled last second. Julie also dropped out. Senator Julie Gonzalez statement: Today, I'm deciding to no longer participate in the rally with the Sound Piker. At no fault of the event organizer, multiple venues who canceled the 11th hour, and I have been told that it was a violation of the venue contracts. I appreciate the Sound Piker and Mike Gross and Justin Pearson and Representative Donna McKinney for inviting us to engage. In my remarks today, I plan to speak about the toll that crisis after crisis ain't into consideration at all. These are big business owners.
Awful. One might say capitalists.
That are capitulating to at a time when there's unprecedented amounts of attacks on free speech. These are big business owners.
Yeah, but you don't... Oh my gosh, free speech. But before we continue, let's have a word from today's sponsor. Recently, a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their platforms could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. The recent historic verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health struggles, you should hear this. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm they cause. You can use the link in my description or scan the QR code to take a short quiz to see if you qualify for a case. You may be entitled to a potential recovery of up to $1,000.
That seemingly are supposed to be apolitical or liberal adjacent, turning around and leaning into the right-wing snooze.
Oh yeah, it's the right wing. Of course, it's always. I'm waiting now for him to complain about Osmond, because it's always in it. But here's the thing, Spiker Boy. I'm a massive supporter of free speech, and yet I'm so happy that you're being banned, that you're finally starting to get what you deserve, which is consequences that you've never had because of your rich, spoiled money boy dressed in tens of thousands of dollars outfits and Gucci bags. You've never had anyone say no to you. You have been able to cross the line so many times on Twitch, but you've got your big friend because of politics. You've got your big friends, Twitch CEO, being okay with you. You've been allegedly inciting violence. You've been inciting threats. He's the one who said that there is revolutionary potential. That's what you... So people invite you, and you say that you are in favor of robbing banks, then you're in favor of breaking the law, that you think someone's gotta do it, and we all know what that means. You're talking about the assassination of the sitting president of the United States. You say all of this shit, while at the same time, that's when he's invited. That's when this clown LARPs as some kind of 20th century totalitarian macho man. That's when he's invited to speak publicly. When he speaks at home, keyboard warrior comfort, then he goes way worse. And I've shared it many times, literally calling his audience to stab people of a certain political ideology, meaning everyone who is right of him, and the capitalists, and to take the... I can't even repeat it, because if I repeat it, I get demonetized, but he has had zero consequences. None, nothing, now, zero. For years. So now, just like any spoiled child, is pitching a fit, is giving a temper tantrum because he has never been told no. And finally, after reviewing all the nonsense...
What's up, guys? Crawl to the start. My middle finger. The
Got a dream for sale.
Got a dream, dog? Did you have a dream of ice and fire, dog?
Holy fuck.
You got to go to the dentist, dog. Because, dog, you're supposed to, dog. You gotta go, like, every 2 years, dog. You're not being a good white citizen if you don't, dog. Don't you want your teeth to match your skin complexion, dog?
I wonder how Mr. Tracy's doing.
Nice, dude. I talk about white teeth. Mr. Tracy. Oh, he's probably fucking bench pressing 10,000 pounds right now. Mr. Trace.
Bro, look, there's people score. This guy scores 242k. Ban these fucking people, dude. It's 100,000 more than. Oh, it's so dumb. Like in Black Ops 1, I got banned off the leaderboards because I was rising up the leaderboards too fast for their liking. It wasn't because I was doing any fucking retarded shit, like fucking hacking or fucking boosting or whatever. These people are using exploits and fucking using hacks at the same time. Or at minimum using exploits. All be fucking permanent. IP banned, console banned, everything. Not sure why all-wheel drive gives you the same amount of points in the drift zone.